This episode of Analysis in Chains is brought to you by our sponsor, Bankera. Bankera is building a digital bank for the blockchain era, and their token sale is on until the end of February. You can find out more when you visit them at www.bankera.com. And now for our show.
This is the Analysis in Chains with Nathan Williams and Neil Kieran.
Welcome everyone to Analysis in Chains. I am Nathan Williams, and joining me today is Jeffery Huong. Jeffery is the founder of Mthril and the chairman of M17 Media. Jeffery, thank you very much for joining me today.
It's great to be here. Thank you, Nathan, for inviting me. Yeah.
Oh, it's always good to have you. So, you are the founder of a media company, M17 Media, and from this, I understand you saw a need and went into a blockchain project called Mithril. Tell us about sort of that process of how of what need you saw.
Okay, I've been into the entertainment business for about 25 years. I started in music production, being an artist, a writer, producer, and lyrics that I wrote 25 years ago, I still receive royalties on them. I've done movie, TV production, and movie and TV rights. I still, receive money or royalties on those projects. And the one thing is, I've been using social media to promote, my projects, my club, things that I've done in the past. And after a certain extent, it's like there's one form of intellectual property that still is not accounted for, and that's personal content. Photos of your friends, your girlfriend, your wife, your wedding, your birthdays, or videos. These items, when we post them on the social network, they do profit off of it, ad revenue or whatnot, and but they don't do revenue share. They just take our personal content and use it. Yeah. So I saw that there's this missing way of tracking your personal content IP and finding a way to reward everybody. So I'm applying using the blockchain ERC20 token to keep track of everybody's personal content.
Well, that's fascinating. So when you're talking about personal content, you're saying that I would get rewarded for just, taking a selfie of myself eating a hot dog or Instagram of my lunch or that sort of thing?
So the recent format is stories, right, from Snapchat. And, of course, Facebook and Instagram have copied them. But when you're telling your personal story, they do put ads on it. And your family members that come check out your story, your friends or your fans that come check out your story, they check out these ads. And these ads generate a lot of revenue for these platforms, and you don't see compensation for that, or you don't see a royalty or any rev share for something like that. And of course, the basic value right when you take the picture, right? It's sentimental value. That's what you get from day one or from the very beginning. But once it's put online, it's put in the cloud, it's out there. If it generates traffic, you are generating value. It's just that who takes the value, right?
Well, that's a really simple concept, and it's funny. I think that as a society, we've just sort of gotten used to putting our content out there and being the product sold. We've sort of it's sort of like the pigs in the barn. They get the free food, they get the free place to stay, but they don't realize they're the product sold, and that's, I guess, similar to us as we get the benefit of these networks, but end up being sold to advertisers and to other people that want our attention. But how can you pull off something like this? Like, do you need to have partnerships with existing social media companies, or do you intend to replace them?
Yeah, in the beginning, all of it is just dreams if you just talk about it. So we're not just a website and white paper. We have a product about ready to launch. I think at the beginning of next month, March, and the first product will be Lit. It's our partner. Well, I am from M17, right? So we Asia's biggest live streaming platform, and that's more like social media. So what we're doing this is more like UGC's social network type of a platform, Lit, which is mostly based on the story format that you see on Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook right now. And along this platform, yes, we would like to replace Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, but at the same time, Mthril is designed to work with any social network or even dating apps that, or depending on how you want to use Mithril as the token, because it will be valuable in the sense that it could be used as a currency and be spent. And so if let's say Tinder or any of the dating apps, they could use it as a form of payment.
Now, what's the benefit of adding blockchain to this? Like, if you've got your Lit social network and you do the story format, couldn't you run a revenue share like YouTube does? Like, what's the added benefit of blockchain in this case?
Real straightforward is that only because that there's blockchain now and there's the this cryptocurrency phenomenon and this current market, that it's possible to do Lit and Mithril now. I've had this idea for, I would say, 6 to 7 years, from back in the day with Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat. There was no way for me to compete with them. As in, like, okay, let's say I did the exact same. I could build these apps in my sleep, and when I build the app, right, for photo, video sharing or whatnot, and your friend list and whatnot, this stuff is not just easy, but it can be done fairly simply. The problem is you don't have the network effect. You don't have first mover advantage. You don't have an advantage on them. And just to do rev share at the beginning, I don't have enough ad revenue to support that model. And no one does. You can't really compete with Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat like that. But now, because of blockchain technologies, there's a chance to, in my opinion, right this wrong, where like you said, we're pigs in a barn. Like, I want to change that fact. I believe in YouTube's model, the rev share model, and Google's got deep pockets. YouTube did start off as like a kind of a pirated thing where a lot of the content rights weren't really being managed. You throw anything you want on YouTube and it turned viral. Google bought it out, turned it legit, rev share, they could pay for it. They got the Google ad network and whatnot. But today, as a startup, only because of blockchain and the use of the tokens, is that I can basically compete or disrupt this social network market. And to go further into that, the way I see it is, Facebook was for your parents, and the kids are using Snapchat now, but even the Snapchat kids are growing up, and the next generation will be the crypto generation. So kids that understand Bitcoin, they understand Ethereum, they understand something like Mithril, and they will understand that their personal content shouldn't be given away for free. And that's also, that all goes into your privacy and goes into being censored or whatnot.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And especially with modern generation, I mean, people are much more sensitive to the needs of sort of privacy and social network, and having a crypto solution for this is probably what you need to get them on board. But I'm wondering, how do you manage rights using, maybe this is too technical of a question, I don't know, but how do you manage rights on social media content that gets created? How do you prevent it from being transmitted off of Lit, for example, and onto and copied elsewhere?
Well,
or do you?
I'm not going to claim, I'm not sure. I've read a lot of white papers, so our white paper at the same time, we're not trying to claim that we have the ultimate solution. I think we have a first generation crypto social personal content rights solution that we're working on, and it's starting as an ERC20 token, but eventually we would like to decentralize every part of the social network, and we would like to build our own mainnet, our own social network specific blockchain technology for running the whole thing. And I don't think we are the best. So let's say, for instance, like there are companies like Bluezell out there that are doing content storage or data storage. And if they figure out how to store all the data onto blockchain, right, we will use that to store the photos, the videos of the social network. We could use Zilliqa's solution. We could use anybody's solution out there that would help to decentralize the social network. But currently, the only thing decentralized right now is the ERC20 token, and the fact that Lit, we are doing something totally different. It's called social mining, and definitely it's inspired by Bitcoin, which does proof of work. You can mine Bitcoin mining, right? And the computer, you help keep track of the ledger, and you get to mine some of the, and help the transactions, and you get to mine some of the social coins, the Bitcoin. And for our social mining, it's proof of work too. You post your photos, your videos, your personal content, and depending on how much traffic you generate, that's how much you get rewarded accordingly, for your Mthril. And also is like we put in some of the same rules, like, so there is a limited supply of Mthril. It's not infinite supply, and because of that, there will be difficulty adjustment along the way. Because I mean, if you're the first 1,000 people or 100,000 people using Lit, you're the early adopter. You're the one that helps promote the platform, helps promote Mithril, helps to build the community and network. So definitely mining the Mithril would be easier. And later on, if you're late to the game, or you're like the millionth user or the 10 millionth user, you come into a community that's already here, up and running and going. So your contribution is less. So when you socially mine, you don't, it's harder. The difficulty will be adjusted by then.
Now, when you're talking about social mining, this is a rather interesting concept. Because with Bitcoin mining, you have proof of work. You have people who are essentially contributing to the securing of the network, cryptographic security. They're burning energy into finding unique numbers that will certify and prevent other people from copying the token. Now, how is social mining different than that?
I mean, it's proof of work too. I mean, you got to put in work. You got to take photos. You got to take video. You got to produce something interesting and entertaining that you can entertain people. Or, is it instructional? Is it educational? Are you teaching something? Like, why am I checking out this content? And when you eventually, that either it's either rev share, or from my point of view, the long-term vision of Lit and Mithril, this platform, is to combine social with financial, right? So for an example of something currently doing that would be WeChat. WeChat in China started off as the IM, instant messenger. It's a social platform, but right now you can pay your rent with it. You can go out to dinner. You could pay anything with it. It's peer to peer too, P2P. You can pay your friend or your relatives with the platform. So that's like social into financial, and we are kind of like social into financial, except we're going to go social into crypto. So you hear about wallets all the time, and a wallet is what's in your back pocket, right? Your leather wallet that you keep on yourself. But a wallet inside a phone, inside an app, does not have to just be a wallet. So in my opinion, Mithril, after you mine it and you have it, it's in your wallet. The Mithril wallet. We call it a vault, right? Because we're trying to not get coined into that wallet term, because I feel like it's on the app, so we could add an exchange, we could add Shapeshift in there, and I think Shapeshift is ingenious, but we want to put it on an app and make it easy to use. And by making it easy to use, then I do not have to go and talk to all the merchants to accept Mithril. I mean, if I go to Starbucks and they're accepting Litecoin one day, I take my Myth, I shapeshift it into Litecoin, and I spend it there. If McDonald's is taking Bitcoin and not Litecoin or Mithril, I take my Mithril, I shapeshift it into Bitcoin, and I can spend it there too. So we want to be social into crypto, or social and crypto combined inside one platform, and that's where I see it going in the next 3 to 5 years. Now,
do you think that China is like an ideal market for this sort of thing because they're being used to paying through WeChat already and through apps, or do you imagine that Mithril's big launch will be in a different geographic location?
I definitely believe it will be a different geographical location. I mean, currently there are friendly regions, and but eventually, I'm sure. I'm a believer, so I think eventually everybody's going to open up to this. It'll be regulated. I just hope the governments don't strangle it. I do a lot of lobbying here in Taiwan for the crypto movement. Here in Taiwan, I do lobby to regulate but not strangle I mean, we had a very good. They had it in the States recently. They had the meeting, and who was that? Fed chair, or he was really positive on the whole thing.
Yeah, it was a CFTC, something like that.
He was very
CFTC
very
chair,
positive. Yeah. I think it was a very good vibe, and
I was surprised by that. But it was great.
It was great, and I'm a believer, and I wanna see it do well. So at least in Taiwan, I will spend my to promote crypto and regulate it, but not strangle it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that approach that he said, "Do no harm." We've talked a lot about regulation actually on this show, and I'm based in Germany. My co-host is based in Montreal, and we're trying to take a look at the different regions and how they're approaching it. And like I said, I've got my own crypto project that I'm looking at, and the region really makes a difference on how they intend to regulate it, and whether it's going to be strangling, whether it's not, or whether it's too uncertain to know. And in a way, lack of regulation is even worse because you don't know if you're going to get dinged later. If someone's going to come after you in 5 years and say, "Well, no, this was all done wrong." So
I welcome regulation, and I feel like if you let me know the rules, like, hey, you can't do it here, maybe I move somewhere else. I move my company to another region that is going to be accepting or even welcoming of crypto businesses, crypto communities.
So what region did you choose to launch Mthril from?
We are here in Taiwan, and but I grew up in the United States, and I'm a dual citizen, so U.S. and Taiwan.
I know. I ask because a lot of companies choose to operate out of Singapore, for instance, because of their regulatory structure. What's the Taiwanese regulatory structure like so far? I mean,
it's very.
I guess better now that you've been lobbying.
Well, it was fairly positive, and I've thrown my weight in there too. And it seems like this generation of Taiwanese people and government officials are all very supportive. Like, there's nobody here like fighting against it. Everybody wants to understand it more. I definitely believe Taiwan is probably one of the leaders in we just passed the law for Taiwanese fintech sandbox, and it's the longest sandbox in the world, 3 years. So you get 3 years to test fintech, which includes crypto. Yeah. And that starts in Q2 of this year, so that's really exciting.
Whoa! So essentially, like, if anyone like me wanted to start up their fintech startup in Taiwan, they would sort of get this grace period where it's like, oh yeah, no problem, you can try something.
Yeah, for 3 years, as long as it's not illegal or something crazy bad, right? I think they're open to let you try it for 3 years. Yeah, you apply and.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's.
I'll apply with my new startup Ponzi coin.
Yeah, I think you might get in trouble on the first day. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. What if I spell it PAWN-Z, Ponzi?
Yeah, pawning people? Maybe.
Yeah. This is completely legit.
Yeah.
I always wanted to have a project called Totally Legit Crypto Project. I think that would, I'm sure, encourage confidence.
Yeah.
So tell me about your process. Like, how long was it to set up your community, to go through and prepare your token sale? You are doing a token sale, correct?
No. So
you're not. Sorry.
Yeah, we're one of that opted not to do an ICO. I don't know how many are not doing it, but I've seen it here and there. Other people that aren't doing an ICO. So, and you can ask why, which is basically, I think there's more liability. You know, you got to do all your KYC. You don't know if anybody hopped your geofence. You know, are they from a citizen from a country that is not, you know, allowing ICOs or allowing the stuff. So, and also at the point when I was getting into it, I felt like ICO was the term's been overused and a little toxic or radioactive a little bit, and so we did a private raise. And aside from private raise, we're going direct to listing. So we'll be listed on a major exchange at the end of this month, and so we went from private to a major exchange. That's the path we're taking.
That's great news. But when you're talking about private raise, you're still doing a token sale, right? Or not a crowd sale, but a private token sale? Or are you selling equity as well?
No, we're not selling equity. And you know, that's the really funny thing about this whole movement, right? Is that you hear about crypto, you hear about ICO, but if you've seen any people's SAFT agreement, like these simple agreements for future tokens, they look like a Series B or Series A or you know, share purchase agreement. It's like almost no difference. And then you're like, hey, that's funny. I thought the whole point of ICO or crypto was to not be so regulated or not to be so you know, constrained by the traditional VC model, right? But it almost falls in that category. Although I met Vitalik late last year, and I mean, he inspired me to keep going, because there's a little while where I kind of like saw this ICO stuff, the bad parts of it, the bad parts of crypto, all the bad actors or whatnot, all this, you know, I see these Twitter wars. I look at on Twitter, I see all this crap, and I was like, man, forget this. I you know, I'm getting a little tired of the community. And after meeting Vitalik and talking to him, he really inspired me to, you know, want to see this through it and also, you know, go for it. And yeah, he really inspired me. And afterwards, like it made it like a lot more things more clear too. Is that one of the main things he says, try to be creative in your fundraising, be creative in your financial structure. And that pushed me out of the box, which is, oh, let's just do an ICO, you know, do, you know, all this promotion and whatnot, and just do marketing for your tokens on your website. I was like, okay, forget it. Well, you know, why don't we do it a different way, right? So, like I said,
So what do you do?
So we went private. I think that's one of the things is like we don't want to do the ICO, and the other part is you don't raise too much in the beginning. So we saw like ICOs that are raising like 100 mil, 200 mil, like on day one, right? And like Vitalik said, the day I met him is like they didn't deserve having 100 mil, 200 mil from day one, right? Or more. Some of these people that raise even more, and they haven't done a product yet, or you know, you just started, you know. And I believe in the future, and I've read a little bit of that online. I think mini ICOs or smaller ICOs are definitely viable and also might be the right way to go. And it doesn't have to be one-shotted. Like everybody tries to, you know, raise all the money they need. Like even I had the same problem, was trying to know what I need between now and the next 5 years, which I think is impossible to predict. I mean, I've done a lot of startups, and even my MECHI media had so many pivots, so many ups and downs, so many things we could never have foreseen, and you have to make new decisions like every day, every week, every month. So when you do the ICO, most people do it thinking, oh, I need all the funds for 3 years, all the funds for 5 years, but that shouldn't be the case. It should be maybe, you know, for the first year, or, you know, to get you from what milestone, and then after that you can raise more money after that, or you could do a second ICO, a third ICO, you know, another offering, not an initial offering, but like a second public offering, a third public offering. It's kind of like the tradition. This is the part where we can borrow from traditional old school VC format, right? Angel round, Series A, B, C, D, E, and then like IPO for one final raise, right? And I think that could be done, like stages of this kind of like coin offering.
So how does your process differ from potentially a traditional ICO? Like, I mean, most traditional ICOs have been doing a giant roadshow, lots of marketing, and then and then they have the one day where they sell out. When you're going private, do you still have to do the road show? Is it more introductions and networking? Like, how does that whole process work?
Oh, yeah. So I'm lucky. I have a lot of friends. I've been working for a long time. I'm 45 this year. And plus, I do have few businesses that are successful. So going out there, I told my friends about it. It just happens that a lot of people know people that were in the crypto scene. And it is like a private raise, yes. Instead of doing it on a website or road shows, I had lunches, dinners. I met these people in person, talked about my vision. And a lot of them were gung-ho. And the crazy thing is that there really is like a fine line between crypto generation and non-crypto. Or, if not generation, just crypto people and non-crypto people. So, for instance, some actors, some famous singers, they're like, "Oh man, Jeff, this is the greatest idea. I'm gonna invest in you. I wanna buy some tokens, right?" I'm like, "Great." And 30 grand, 50 grand US. Although I didn't accept fiat, I told them to go get Ethereum and then send it over. But they're like, "Oh, I'll give you 30 Ethereum, 50 Ethereum," and you're like, "Wow, that's really great support." Except the funny thing is, like, you run into one crypto hardcore guy, 9,000, 5,000 Ethereum, and you're like, "What?" It's like, okay, yeah, you must be from the crypto world. You're on a different level. And it's funny. I mean, these are famous actors and famous singers in Asia that say, "Hey, I'm gonna put a lot of money behind this, or I'm gonna put a lot of my Ethereum behind this." And they're like 30, 50, like. And then when you think about it, and I'm from the old school, man. I make money the hard way, and I know how hard it is to make money. So like, I really appreciate their support. Like, damn, thanks, man. I really appreciate them supporting me like that. But yeah, it was totally different when I ran into a few of these like whales, right? They just crypto whales. Yeah. They're like 5,000, 1,000. It's like, well, isn't that like $1 million? It's like, well, okay. So I didn't have to do the ICO. Got lucky. We were oversubscribed.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. I mean, especially if you're not part of crypto. If you're part of crypto, you might not think that's crazy. But yeah, when I run into it, I'm just like, wow. I had to hustle my ass off to do like a Series B $20 million US raise. Took 4 months, tons of lawyers, tons of like paperwork to get that crap done, and then to raise.
Someone just dumps like 1,000 Ethereum into your lap.
yeah. I mean, it's like what, a few days, and you're done with your 30,000 ETH raise, and you're like, wow, okay, things are different now. Yeah, that's the funny thing. I turned down like $50 million, 50,000 Ether. I turned it down. I was like, am I crazy? Yeah, I think I'm crazy. What happened?
Wow.
And this happened over a span of like 10 days. I think 10 days.
And this is recently, right?
Yeah, this is recent. About a month ago.
Yeah, you see, what I was going to ask is...
And during a non-bull market. This is after the crashing, everybody's dying
That's what I was about to ask. Like, in the middle of this market, everyone, started saying, well, at least in the retail world, the retail investors are saying, oh, no, it's over, Bitcoin's over. But, I've seen so many people, yourself included, who've done their raises since then.
Yeah, and they did during the lows. So, in my opinion, crypto is far from over. At least from people I'm around or what I'm seeing. I just believe that everybody's getting smarter. I think these scam ICOs or these bad actors or these crap projects, they're gonna go away, and they're not gonna get what they want. So people will stop doing it. And yeah, literally, I want to go out there and be I'm from the hip hop. My music genre was from hip hop, right? And I used to rap. I used to write raps. And like sometimes I just want to go to these events and just like call everybody out on how bad their project is, and just say, hey, where's your product? Oh, you don't got a product? When are you gonna get done? Never. I just want to call everybody out and let everybody know, like, like
I want to see that, the epic blockchain rap battle.
Yeah, it's kind of like a battle, right? You're like, I've said it to the private investors, the same thing. The top 3 cryptos: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Mthril. That's what I tell everybody, and that's what's going to happen. And I'd say everybody else is fake, or everybody else is whack. It's like it almost feels like 10, 20 years ago when I was rapping before, and all over again. Bring that kind of attitude to the crypto scene.
Well, East Coast versus West Coast crypto, maybe.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's exciting. I mean, every day I get up, I'm like fired up.
That is exciting. So tell me, okay, so we got all these people listening. They want to know, how can they get involved? Like, you're not doing a crowd sale. So what do you do? How do we get involved with Mthril?
I just hope everybody jumps on the Lit platform and starts mining it. Like early adopter, it's like the early days of Bitcoin, right? It's easy to mine back then. It's harder to mine now. You need tons of computers, tons of electricity, and just to mine a little bit of Bitcoin now. So early on, I'm sure Mthril will be easy to mine. You post some photos with your friends, and you might get like one Mthril, right? And then like later on, a year down the road, and your friends are, hey, get your friends on there, and they might do the same thing, post some photos and videos with way more friends or way more view counts or whatnot, but only be able to mine 0.1 Mthril. So I think the best way to get involved would be to socially mine. Yeah.
Awesome. And we can find the Lit platform on your website?
It'll be on iOS and Android and launched at the same time early next month.
That's really exciting. Well, Jeffery Huong, thank you very much for joining us. The platform is Lit. The crypto is Mithril. You can find out more at mith.io and download the Lit platform starting the next month.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining me.
Nathan, thank you for having me, and I hope I can come back soon.